Hello and welcome to the class. My name's Paddy. Today we're going to talk about how to plan your essay in writing task 2. If you have any questions after you watch this class, you can click on the chat icon at the top of your page here to send us a message with any questions. This is the first class of 2 classes, and this video will last just over 20 minutes. First, we're going to talk about the timings of task 2. Then we're going to look at how to understand the question. So by the end of this video, you will be more aware of how to start planning. During this class, there will be some questions for you to answer. You can find these questions below the video. I will tell you when you need to answer the questions, and I will give you about 10 to 15 seconds to do so. Okay, let's get started. One of the things that makes people a little bit nervous about the writing exam is the limited amount of time that you have. However, with careful planning, you can speed up the rate at which you think of ideas and write your answers. Let's look at some information about the 2 tasks of the writing exam. First, we have task 1. Task 1 takes up 20 minutes of the writing exam. So that's 20 minutes for everything, including planning. As a result, I would suggest a planning time of 3 to 5 minutes. In task 1, understanding the information in the question is incredibly important. So you need to spend that time analysing the information and planning the structure of your answer. The word count for task 1 is 150 words. That word count is a minimum word count, so you should be writing more than that, but definitely not less than that amount. If you're writing less than that amount, then you probably have not included enough important information. Task 1 makes up 33% of the total writing mark. Now let's think about task 2. I'm going to see how much you know about task 2. Look at the first question below this video. How much time do you get to write task 2? Choose the correct option for the total time for task 2. Task 2, you get 40 minutes. So the writing test is 60 minutes in total, and 40 of those should be for task 2, as it's the longer essay question. So how much time do you think you should spend planning for your answer to task 2? Look at the next question below this video and choose the correct option for the best amount of time to spend planning. You should spend 5 minutes planning task 2. You can spend more than this, but I certainly would not recommend spending less time than this. So that planning time involves brainstorming, thinking of ideas, thinking about how you're going to structure your answers, what you're going to put into your introduction and conclusion. What is the word count for task 2? So that's the minimum number of words you should write. Have a look at the next question below this video and choose the correct option for the number of words in a task 2 essay. A task 2 essay should have 250 words. Again, this is a minimum word count. So if you're writing less than that, then your essay is probably not developed enough. There is no maximum limit of the number of words, but if you're writing much more than 300 words, then you're probably not using your time to make good language and check your grammar. So between 250 and 300 words is definitely the right amount to aim for. Finally, What percentage of the total writing mark is task 2? Look at the next question below this video and choose the correct option. Task 2 makes up 66% of course. So if you think about the number of marks, task 2 is worth double that of task 1. However, the word count is less than double. So this means that task 2 has a higher value per word than task 1. So it's really important to use that planning time effectively. Don't sacrifice your task 2 time for your task 1 time. So why is planning so important? Planning makes sure that your answer is relevant. If you write just from what your brain is thinking, you have a tendency to produce irrelevant information. Maybe your ideas will go in directions that don't necessarily relate to the question. If you have a plan and you stick to that plan, your ideas will be organized and there will be a logical progression. Structure is essential for a task 2 essay. You need to have clear paragraphs with an introduction and conclusion. This is much easier if you have written a plan and you know what you're going to say in each of the paragraphs. It allows you to get a much higher mark in that coherence and cohesion category. Planning gives you time to think of useful phrases that you can put in your essay. Brainstorming vocabulary and grammar to put in your essay is what you should be doing during the planning stage. Remember, this is an opportunity to show off the English that you do know. Planning actually saves time. Writing and then thinking and then writing and then thinking is a bad use of your time. This is a slow process, and it often means that you will have to go back and change something and correct it, cross something out. If you plan, you can then write without stopping. You have your plan, you can check it, and you can follow it. It allows you to write much faster. So now we're going to look at an example question, and we're going to think about what information we need to focus on when we start planning our essay. So the question you see on your exam paper will look something like this. It will start with a reminder to spend 40 minutes on the task, and then it will give you the topic in a box. Let's read it. Some people believe that government spending on the arts is a waste of money, and that this money could be better spent in other areas. Others say that it is essential to promote the culture of a country. Discuss both views and give your opinion. At the end, it will say something like, give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. It will always say this for all of the essays because you always need to do that. Let's think about what type of essay this is. There is some language in the question that helps us identify this. We can see some people believe, others say. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So focusing on that language, what type of essay do you think this is? Look at the next question below this video and choose the type of essay. Is it A, an advantage or disadvantage essay, B, an opinion essay, C, a discussion essay, D, a direct question essay, or E, a cause-effect and solution essay? Choose the correct option now. So this is a discussion essay, C. We know it's a discussion essay because it asks us to look at two sides of an argument. So here we would have to discuss one side and the other side in the body paragraphs of our essay. It also asks us for our opinion. Discussion essays will often do this. The difference between a discussion essay and an opinion essay is that an opinion essay, you don't necessarily need to talk about both sides in your body paragraph. Of course, you should reference both sides of the argument, but they don't need to be the central topics of your paragraphs. Now we're going to look at some language that you find in the questions for different essay types. Here we can see some examples of the kind of language used in the different questions for the different essay types. That's 5 types in total. It's important to recognize what essay type the question is asking for, because when you make a plan, it needs to suit that essay type. So your plans will be a little bit different for each of the essay types. So let's look at those 5 essay types. First, we have the advantages and disadvantages essay. This is the kind of essay where you will be presented with a topic, such as online shopping, and you need to say the good points and the bad points about this topic. It is essential to mention both the advantages and the disadvantages to get a good score. It's easy to spot this type of question because you will see the words advantages and disadvantages in the question. There are synonyms of these that include what are the benefits and the downsides, or maybe the benefits and the drawbacks, but generally advantages and disadvantages is the common language. The structure for an advantage and disadvantage essay is also pretty simple. You'll have a paragraph on the advantages and you can have a paragraph on the disadvantages. Both are necessary for a good task achievement score. Now let's look at an opinion essay. An opinion essay will usually present you with a statement or a sentence, and then it will ask you if you agree or what your opinion is. Notice that the language will often be personalized to you. To what extent do you agree? What is your opinion? In this type of essay, you will look at both sides of the argument, but you will have a clear opinion throughout the whole thing. So you will be defending your view. You'll be making a case for your argument. Next, we have the discussion essay that we saw before. In the question for a discussion essay, it will show you a debate. It will show you something like, some people believe eating meat is bad for the environment, while others say it's a necessary part of our culture and cuisine. So it will present it as that some people, but other people. Then it will ask you to discuss both sides and give your opinion. The give your opinion part is not always included, but I would recommend giving your opinion in the conclusion anyway. Next, we have the direct question essay. This is the type of question which will ask you a direct question about a topic. So the examples we have here are, should parents let young children use electronic devices? It may then ask you a second question. What are the effects of using electronic devices on children? So there you have 2 questions. You could dedicate a paragraph to each one. Notice here, there's no language about what you need to do, discuss both sides, or what are the advantages and disadvantages. It just asks you a question on the topic. And finally, we have the cause and effect or solution essay. This will ask you for the causes of something or the effects of something. For example, global warming. So it might say, what are the causes of this? Then it will ask you, how can this problem be solved? So global warming is a big problem. What are the causes of this? And how can this problem be solved? So look out for words like problem be solved, but also pay attention to whether you need to talk about the cause of the problem or the effects of the problem. Now that we understand the type of essay we need to write, let's focus on the topic of the essay. Here is the same question that we saw before. We need to identify the key vocabulary in this question that tells us the topic. So let's highlight some keywords. Some people believe that government spending on the arts is a waste of money. So let's highlight waste there, it's a negative word. And that this money could be better spent in other areas. Others say that it is essential to promote the culture of a country. So from these keywords, we can see the two sides of the argument and we can get a better idea of the general topic. I'm going to show you some topics, A, B, C, D, and E. Look at the next question below this video and choose the correct topic for this question out of A, B, C, D, and E. So the topic of this essay is culture. We could get that from the word the arts, and then other people say that it's essential to promote the culture of a country. Don't be confused by the word money here. We're talking about government spending, which is related to finance and it's related to politics a little bit, but here the focus is spending on the arts and the value of the arts. So the topic here is culture. We should be thinking about the importance of culture for this essay. So because this is a discussion essay that we're looking at, we need to make sure we know the two sides of the argument. The question presents us with two sides, and we need to make sure we know what they are. So let's read it again. Some people believe that government spending on the arts is a waste of money, and that this money could be better spent in other areas. Others say that it is essential to promote the culture of a country. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So what are the two views presented in this question? Look at the next question below this video and choose the two sentences that express the two views presented in the question. Choose the correct options. So the two arguments presented in the question are B, the government shouldn't spend public money on the arts. So that's the first point. Spending on the arts is a waste of money. This money could be better spent in other areas. It's criticizing government spending on the arts. The other side of the argument is E, the government should spend public money on the arts. So here, it's essential to promote the culture of a country. The argument here is saying that the government should spend money because it's essential to promote the culture of a country. So we would have to link our pro-government spending on the arts arguments to this point. We need to prove that it's essential to promote the culture of a country. We can't make different points that defend the arts. Now that I have the two sides of the argument from the question, I can use these as a basis to brainstorm ideas to support those arguments. This brainstorming phase is an essential part of your planning. So for a discussion essay, take the two sides, think of reasons why each side is true. For a problem and solution essay, take the problem, brainstorm causes or brainstorm effects, and then brainstorm possible solutions. Advantages and disadvantages essay, very simple. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? You won't use all of these ideas in your essay. It's a chance for you to assess and analyze those ideas and look for the one which is going to give you the opportunity to show off your English. Remember, you're not trying to win a debate. You're not a politician here making an argument. You're trying to show off your English. So pick the arguments that you think give you the opportunity to use some interesting language and vocabulary. I've brainstormed some ideas for this question, and here they are. So my first one for the government should fund the arts is that culture is an important part of a child's education. I think this is a good argument because I can talk about development, children's psychology, schools, education, the value of literature and movies and art for children. My second point, I'm going to say that some cultural works generate lots of jobs and income for the country. Okay, so this is a different topic. I'm talking about the economy, the entertainment business, how valuable singers, musicians, artists are for a country's economy. I've thought of a third point. Art makes life better and it makes people happier. This is true. It's not such a solid point. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with this argument, so maybe I'm going to choose one of the first two. 3 is a little bit vague. Now, on the other side of the argument, we have the government shouldn't fund the arts. My first point here is, if art is good, people will pay for it, so it shouldn't need public money. This is linking back to the question that said, for that side, the money could be better spent in other areas. So here I'm making a case for the privatization of art. If people like it, they'll pay for it. It doesn't need that government money. So I'm talking about politics and economics here. Number 5, there are children living in poverty in my country. This is more important. Again, it links back to the idea of give an example of another area where this money could be better spent. It's not really a criticism of why the government should not fund the arts. It's more of a case of something which is more important that deserves funding. It's a good point, but it's maybe not as strong as the other ones. 6, public money should be for essential things like transport and medical care. It's quite similar to point number 5, but I'm giving a few more examples of other areas of public spending. So I'm going to choose, again, the one which I think provides me with the greatest opportunity to show off my English. That is the end of this class. Remember, if you have any questions now, you can click on that chat icon at the top of your page or at any time. Send us a message with any questions that you have. Thank you for listening.